Some of the stuff I built actually works. Now, let's move on to my DIY mistakes. First mistake would be just buying bad tools. Then buying tools that are not bad, but just not suitable for the purpose. And then trying to invent some crazy contraptions with them instead of using proven solutions. And of course not knowing how to use the tools and just doing crazy noob stuff. Another close topic is buying tools that are the wrong size, like this cut-off saw is just a little bit too small to cut through the wood that I actually have for my project. Another topic is using tools for the wrong job, like screwing those giant wood screws with a standard screwdriver, which of course just burned out. Another topic of overheating is this spindle sander that I used without considering heat dissipation, and as a result there was damage on the tool. Cutting off too much of something, like these guide rails for my table saw, I cut off 2/10 too much and had to bring the height back with the sticky tape. On this ladder it would be much easier and more convenient for the user to have round stock with round holes instead of square. This chair is just a terrible design that is unstable and really hard to use. With my playground, I bought the wrong slide, which basically broke down after a year. I could never use it because it was only rated for 60 kilograms, and it also didn't provide any stability to the structure which I was hoping for, so fail all around. I also picked the wrong paint for the wood. As you can see on all the horizontal surfaces, after a year the wood is not in great condition despite me applying the paint 5 times or so. It's going to be quite an adventure to disassemble everything, sand off the old paint and paint with the new stuff. Another mistake is not understanding the airflow and heat dissipation in this example of a ventilation fan that I built. I was hoping it would take out the air out of my room, but that really didn't happen, and it also burned down after running for half an hour because I covered it from the rain with a plastic cover and it actually impeded the cooling of the motor. This jig is definitely a fail, because not only it failed at delivering round stock, it was also crazy dangerous. When this poor power cord drum stopped working, I was looking for a failure in the wrong place. Basically disassembled and broken down to the point where I couldn't put it back anymore, and the actual loss of contact was outside of the power drum. I still salvaged the power cord though, it's actually even more convenient. Wood glue works really poorly on treated surfaces like these. Here the threading cutter was used from the wrong side, which resulted in one tooth falling off. There's probably several things going wrong here, because the surface finish on this part is just terrible, and also the sound of this thing running is terrifying. Here you can see that my mill head is not exactly at 90 degrees to the table, which results in a concave cut on the part. Sometimes I try to DIY things that I should have just bought, like this bird cage that we built over many days that was useless because it was stinking, so we couldn't put the birds in it. This lounge chair initially worked quite well, but with time a few defects were discovered. First, that it couldn't hold more than 100 kilos, and second, that it couldn't be left outside for weeks in the rain. I also failed to properly maintain my lawn, which looked amazing 3 years ago. Leaning with a welding torch over a hot part. Having taper stuck in the milling machine again and again. The poor pull bar had to be replaced. Now I'm much more careful. Not using proper lubrication. Here again an overheating problem for the angle grinder, and also not being able to use it for anything else because it's just so dirty inside of that box that I don't even want to think about taking it out. The vibration during this operation was just crazy. There's something not right with my setup. I really didn't need to do all this work here, because I was going to paint the entire thing afterwards. Instead I just spent a ton of time and made a giant mess with this sanding. I used the terrible paint and also ran out of it in the middle of the paint job. And not only that, I then used the 60-year-old liquid paint that was stinking and drying for 2 or 3 weeks, which was just terrible. Here I was so excited to put the table together that I connected the shelves at the wrong angle and also put them together in the wrong order, so I couldn't put some of the screws in. Here I'm working with a hardened threaded rod. The facing actually went well. The problem came when I was trying to make a hole in the end of it. I broke a center drill and also damaged the carbide end mill. Using the wrong threading technique and also going too deep into the material here. Thanks for watching and see you next time.